This startled her, and she nervously said, "Ah." Aunt Mingkong was just looking at Chang'e. The goddess Gumu asked, "Are you looking at that woman? I have never heard of such a prodigy in the Chongqing royal family. I didn't expect her to be so young and already have the cultivation of the semi-saint realm." Yu Mingkong froze and thought, "Semi-saint realm?" Prince Qin looked at the person in the upper seat and thought, "Oh, they noticed me." The goddess Gumu softly asked, "Could it be that Mingkong is jealous?" Yu Mingkong hurriedly said, "No, no, I trust Gu Chang'e very much." She gently stroked Yu Mingkong's ear and smiled, "Don't worry, with Gu Chang'e's current temperament, he might only have an ordinary relationship with that woman. Besides, you all are children I raised." Although Gu Chang'e. Yu Mingkong's heart tightened and she thought, "Wait, has Aunt already discovered the reason Gu Chang'e changed?" The goddess Gumu gently stroked Yu Mingkong's hair and sighed, "Sigh, you've been through a lot all this time." Yu Mingkong also lowered her eyes and said, "Aunt, this matter cannot be blamed on Chang'e. I misunderstood his good intentions before." These words surprised the goddess Gumu. She looked at the others and then said, "Mingkong, do you know everything about the devil?" Yu Mingkong said, "Aunt, I already understand Gu Chang'e's thoughts." Then, the goddess Gumu tightly hugged Yu Mingkong and loudly said, "As expected of my good daughter-in-law. I am truly relieved." Yu Mingkong screamed, "Ah! Aunt, I haven't even married yet." This surprised all the guests. The goddess Gumu hugged Yu Mingkong and said, "Isn't that just a matter of time?" Yu Mingkong thought, "Then, what happened when I returned here half a year ago? Why did Gu Chang'e suddenly descend to the lower realm? Was it really just to seek opportunities?" She said to the goddess Gumu, "Aunt, I heard that when Chang'e went to the lower realm, he brought back 2 women. One is Lin Chiohan, who is currently learning alchemy in the 4 extremes Pill sect. The other is Su Qing'e, who was sent to your side to cultivate." The goddess Gumu said, "Yes, that's true. What about it?" Yu Mingkong asked, "Does Aunt know if these 2 women have any special characteristics?" The goddess Gumu said, "As for Lin Chiohan, I am not sure. I only know that she was sent by Chang'e to the Pill sect. As for Su Qing'e, she is a rare person with 2 souls. In her past life, she was the arm of a devilish figure. I tried using secret methods to investigate her background, but her soul was shattered beyond recognition. So I couldn't find anything. Inside Su Qing'e, there are 2 souls, one good and one evil." Yu Mingkong turned her gaze away and thought, "Looks like my investigation was right. Gu Chang'e brought her along but never truly cared for her. Fortunately, she has already outlived her usefulness. Once lost her value, she was discarded." Yu Mingkong looked at Gu Chang'e and the sons of heaven from various sects, thinking, "In my past life, Gu Chang'e didn't bring anyone to the upper world. It seems something happened in this life that made him change. And this period just happens to be the time of my rebirth. Could it be because of me?" Yi Langtian spoke from outside, "Brother Gu, the demonic arts have been causing trouble in the dark. Do you have any countermeasures?" The winged man said, "Brother Gu, after all, you are the only one who has fought against the heir of the demonic arts. Surely you have a way, unlike us, who are completely clueless." Gu Chang'e said with a serious expression, "To not hide from everyone, this has always been something I've been puzzled about. That day, when I fought Yi Ling, although I heavily injured him, he still showed no fear in the end, as if someone was helping him from behind. And because I was seriously injured and couldn't chase him, I could only watch him escape helplessly." Gu Xiener sighed nearby, thinking, "Sigh, these clothes are both expensive and plain, luckily it was paid for by Gu Chang'e." A bald man with large Buddha beads hanging around his neck shouted loudly, "Someone helping? Does Brother Gu mean that the heir of the demonic arts is not just Yi Ling?" Gu Chang'e said with a solemn expression, "Based on my speculation, the heir of the demonic arts might not be an individual, there may be forces supporting him from behind." Yi Langtian frowned and thought, "We should have realized earlier, every time the heir of the demonic arts appears, they disturb all realms. And bring suffering to living beings. But now the one who appears is Yi Ling, the golden-winged man said, so, what should we do now? This made Yi Liuli sigh heavily with a grim expression. The scene shifts to Wuliang Tian, where a group of monks were discussing, recently, Wuliang Tian has not had many beautiful women. A woman said nearby, young master, it might be because of the many evil deeds that happened in the Sea King Palace recently, which made those little fairies afraid to come. The young master sighed, so disappointing. Suddenly, a beautiful woman passed by, hiding her figure, and softly said, Gu Changa, and the heir of the demonic arts. The beauty looked at the entrance of the heavenly immortal palace, thinking, based on rumors and the situation at the time, the heir of the demonic arts and Gu Changa fought at the border of the ancient continent, and in the end, Yi Ling fled after being defeated. But past heirs of the demonic arts have never lost in one-on-one combat, their methods and trump cards are endless. Although Gu Changa is powerful and has the title of True Immortal, claiming that he could single-handedly defeat the heir of the demonic arts, that seems a bit far-fetched. Also, Bai Lai, as the earliest victim, is talented, yet his fiancée, Ruan Mi, was able to stay by Yi Ling's side and remain safe. This probably wasn't just because the other was infatuated with her beauty. From this, it seems that the key issue is how naturally everything unfolded, as if someone had already written the script, and all the characters appearing were merely actors arranged by someone. She used light body techniques and stood atop a tall building, thinking, Yi Ling, as the core figure in this matter, seems to always be guided by someone. Ruan Mi's role in all of this is indispensable. Now, with her close relationship with Gu Changa, the mastermind behind it all may be Gu Changa. After all, the core of this entire affair, and the biggest beneficiary, is him. I just hope my guess is wrong, otherwise, the forces involved in this matter will be too terrifying. She frowned, thinking. Elsewhere, a large carriage was speeding along, the coachman constantly whipping the horses, and the sound of the whip echoed loudly. A woman with a seductive figure, large breasts, and pointed ears stood in front. She complained, So Fan, what's wrong with you recently? You can't even remember what spirit herbs Little Bai needs to eat. So Fan said, I got it, Chiao sister, I won't forget next time. The woman angrily said, You better take this seriously. If it weren't for the young lady, you'd have no idea where you'd be starving to death. He was furious, his veins bulging, thinking, Today, I've fallen so low as to be scolded by a maid. If it were before, how dare this lowly maid speak to me like that? Now, not only has my soul been swapped, but the divine soul weapon my father personally forged for me is also gone. I'm no different from a cripple. Suddenly, he realized something and thought, no, I still have a chance. As long as I can come into contact with the beings of Tianhuang Mountain, I can prove my identity and expose that impostor. So Fan muttered, Tianhuang Mountain. The maid shouted angrily, So Fan, what are you mumbling about again? What's Tianhuang Mountain? Did a donkey kick your head? Is that the kind of place you can casually mention? She yelled, You still dare to dream of becoming the Tianhuang prince? Stop daydreaming. You must always remember your identity. Inside the sedan, Ruan Mi sat quietly, thinking, Tianhuang Mountain. This So Fan has been acting strange lately. Not only with odd behavior, but also constantly mentioning the ancient Tianhuang Mountain, the victorious Tianhuang. She smiled to herself, well, this is quite interesting. After meeting with the master, I can discuss it with him. The scene shifts again, a woman directly pushed the door open and shouted loudly, Brother, I heard you're about to make your appearance. The Tianhuang princess, Dan Yu, appeared and stepped inside. The blonde man said, What's wrong? Is there an issue? Dan Yu replied, But according to father's estimation, our time of emergence should be around the appearance of the road. She then held the blonde man's arm and said, But it's fine, if it's your decision, I will naturally follow. This left him speechless, not knowing what to say. He thought to himself, Even the Empress of Heaven pales in comparison to you. When I was just a lackey, you were like the clouds in the sky, and I was the grass I could never reach. Returning to the past, the true Chu Fan looked at Mi and thought, Mi, I know your feelings for me are not just out of pity. To me, you must be different. Mi glanced back with a charming gaze. The true Chu Fan thought, it's just that due to my past identity, you couldn't express much. I understand all of this. However, in reality, all that came to Mi's mind was the image of Gu Changa holding her in a princess carry. The true Chu Fan thought, it's almost time. I will soon stand before you, and untangle the knot in your heart. You want to restore the glory of the Celestial Fox clan? Then I'll help you achieve it. Because now, I have become the most noble person among the ancient myriad clans. Just as the true Chu Fan immersed himself in his fantasies, Dan Yu suddenly shook him and shouted, brother. The true Chu Fan thought, Gu family birthday banquet. Ener, wait for me. The scene switched to a location where many spaceships were docked in front of a massive portal, with many people coming and going. Gu Changa was welcoming the elites from various sects. Yu Mingkong and Gu Xiener stood aside. Yu Mingkong asked, Xiener, what did you call me out for? Gu Xiener said, Mingkong's sister, today I investigated Gu Changa in the family, and it seems I really found some clues. This made Yu Mingkong pause, asking, what? Gu Xiener replied seriously, since Gu Changa was born, the midwife and those who knew about it have long since disappeared. Clearly. There is a hidden secret behind this. Yu Mingkong retorted, are you saying something really went wrong when Changa was born? She thought about how Gu Changa possessed demonic power. Except for my uncle and aunt, perhaps only. I know. But it's well known that demonic power is cultivated later and is actually the source of chaos in the world. What exactly are they hiding? Her mind conjured an image of Gu Changa's ruthless face. Gu Xiener crossed her arms and said, I've always thought that when Changa spared my Dao bone, it was part of his plan, but it had to be done. He seemed to have an unspeakable reason. To me, he has many feelings of guilt. She frowned and thought, looking at it from another perspective, he made me harbor resentment against him. And in the process, he showed me indifference, which must also be a form of tempering me. Yu Mingkong was shocked. And thought, Xiener, if someone told you that you died tragically in your past life, would you still think this way? Gu Xiener said, but right now, I'm still far from being like him. He must be very disappointed. Suddenly, a notification appeared on the toolbar, attention, Xiener breakthrough, destiny value increased. Luck value raised. Gu Changa blurted out, Xiener. This left the red spirit fairy opposite him stunned. Gu Xiener said, Master once said that Gu Changa has an innate demonic nature, but later said that his actions were like a demon but not a demon. Yu Mingkong retorted, innate demonic nature. I think many things could be born with demonic traits, including innate demonic souls and innate demonic energy. What exactly influenced him to cultivate demonic power? Suddenly, Gu Changa grabbed the shoulders of the two chatting women, smiling, what bad things are you saying behind my back? Very well. I've been busy from start to finish, and you two are slacking off here. This startled Gu Xiener, who exclaimed, Gu Changa. Immediately, Gu Xiener turned and left, sighing lightly, I have things to do, farewell. This left the two remaining speechless. Gu Changa leaned on Yu Mingkong and said, Mingkong, now that the elites of all realms have gathered here, don't you intend to help your husband solve some problems? Yu Mingkong's cheeks turned red, and she asked, how should I help? Gu Changa suddenly sighed, now, the young elites of this generation have gathered here, but their strength is too weak. There is no suitable person to shoulder the responsibility. He gestured to Yu Mingkong, I'm afraid soon, the people from the human ancestor hall will come looking for me. At that time. This made Yu Mingkong feel confused. But then, Gu Changa teased, if I die in battle, you'll become a widow. This made Yu Mingkong angry and say, you are the widow's head. Yu Mingkong said calmly, how could it be hard to find? Didn't she hint that there's a great person over there? This made Gu Changge also say, oh. From a distance, Wang Ziqin and Wang Wushuang also looked toward this side. Wang Wushuang said, sister, it seems like Gu brothers are looking at you. Wang Ziqin said, what's so surprising? Your sister's temperament is so outstanding, it's normal for Yu Mingkong to notice her. I just didn't expect her to be so generous. Yu Mingkong and Gu Changge both showed the same sinister expression and greeted the two. Yu Mingkong said, look, she is so suitable. Gu Changge replied, if it weren't for her background, she would indeed be very suitable. Yu Mingkong retorted, isn't her background the Wang family? Gu Changge placed his hands behind his back and softly said, Wang Ziqin, she is the heir of the human ancestor palace. This greatly surprised Yu Mingkong. She exclaimed, what? The heir of the human ancestor palace? In his mind, Gu Changge thought, it seems that in Mingkong's past memories, the heir of the human ancestor palace was not Wang Ziqin, but someone else. Perhaps there is more than one heir. Yu Mingkong thought to herself, damn. The script of this life is diverging more and more, completely out of my control. She started counting on her fingers and said, Wang Ziqin won't work. Changge, you can consider dealing with those freaks from those regions. The immortal fox was once a great prodigy of the Vermilion Bird clan, the Sealed Fire Daozi, the Golden Qilin clan. Gu Changge sarcastically said, ah. Where did my kind-hearted Mingkong go? It seems you plan to conspire with me to do evil. This made Yu Mingkong's cheeks blush. Then, Gu Changge leaned close to her ear and whispered, I prefer you like this now. He then wrapped his arm around Yu Mingkong's shoulder and said, you don't need to worry about this. I have my ways to deal with it. Yu Mingkong nodded in agreement, but she thought, on the other hand, when will you fully confess to me and tell me the secret of your rebirth? There's a lot of rewards waiting for you. Scene changes, and a notification appears on the toolbar, activate, Child of Destiny, Mortal Soul. Possession of a stronger being. Gu Changge thought to himself, mortal soul possession of a stronger being. I've never seen the system mention this faction before. Could there be something special about it? He revealed a sinister smile and thought, perfect, I need you to carry some debts. A subordinate reported, young master, Mi from the Nine-Tailed Fox clan has arrived. Gu Changge placed his hands behind his back and said, oh, welcome her. This made Yu Mingkong next to him glare at him fiercely. Gu Changge sensed a dangerous aura approaching. He said, I often host guests. But in his heart, he thought, according to the system's calculations, the system usually reminds me when a child of destiny or related individuals appear near me. It seems that this chive has something to do with me. Gu Changge went out to greet her and said, Junior sister, you've traveled so far to attend the banquet, you must be exhausted. I am truly touched. Mi, accompanied by her attendants, walked forward and smiled lightly, it's rare for senior brother to care so much, I am also touched. She and her attendants cupped their hands and bowed, Mi greets senior brother. Gu Changge looked at her attendant and thought. Is it him? He really looks like an ordinary mortal. But I wonder what the real identity of the person whose body was possessed is. Mi asked, senior brother, is there something wrong? Gu Changge said calmly, nothing really. I just didn't expect that in this situation, junior sister would bring a mere servant with no cultivation. Looks like he is quite different from what I imagined. The prince, possessing the mortal body, thought, why did Gu Changge notice such a small character like me? He was sweating nervously, thinking, this person's reputation is not simple, being noticed by him is definitely not a good thing. Mi laughed and said, senior brother is overthinking. He volunteered to come along to help. I brought him out to see the world, which isn't bad. Gu Changge's purple eyes flashed slightly as he said, oh, looks like he is quite ambitious. Not bad. The prince's legs began to tremble, and he thought in fear, why does it feel like I've been completely seen through? The luck value above my head is only